righty. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Hamburgers, Hotdog, and Healing. Today, we will have an important conversation with some of our city leaders. I'm so happy to be joined here with Vice Mayor of Oakland Park, Jan Bolin, and our wonderful Mayor of Broward County, Mayor Dale V.C. Holness. So let's start off with introductions. Vice Mayor, go ahead and introduce yourselves to us.
Thanks. My name is Jane Bolin. I'm the Vice Mayor of Oakland Park. I was elected to office in 2018, first time elected official. I was elected as city commissioner, and now I'm the vice mayor and will be the mayor in November because we rotate. And I'm an entrepreneur. I live in Broward County. I obviously live in Oakland Park. I own a law firm and a real estate title company. And I'm just really delighted to be here because I love having conversations with the community about what matters to them. That's the reason I ran for office, was to make a difference and hear people. So it's great to be here. Thank you.
Mayor Holness?
Well, I'm Dale Holness, now serving as the mayor of Broward County. I first got elected in 2004 to the City of Lauderdale City Commission. I served as vice mayor on two different occasions for 2 years there. Prior to that, I was engaged in the community, going back to a youngster. Actually, I just left my mother's and dad's wedding anniversary, and we're reminiscent of the 70s. We talked about the gas crisis. Some of you on this wasn't even born then, when we had to rotate days to get gasoline. So I go way back, being a part of the Northwest Businessmen Association for the Sistrunk area at a young age of 20, being engaged with Operation Push, Jesse Jackson's campaign, People United to Serve Humanity, the Rainbow Coalition. So I've been around quite a bit. I served in Lauderdale again for a good while, started the Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce, did some work in the central Lauderdale area to get rid of drug dealers on the corners and clean the area up. I put together an Education A+ plan now at the county, working on ensuring that we grow the economy for everyone and be as inclusive as we can, and especially focusing on small minority and women-owned businesses. When I got to the county, 10.25% of the procurement went to those categories that I just mentioned. Today, we're at 39%. Huge jump in 10 years. And there's a lot more work to do. We ought to be looking at least half of that money in the next few years that we spend at the county level. And I'm hoping cities are following suit to ensure that we're engaging local, small, minority of creativity and entrepreneurship. And we ought to be ensuring that we're working to grow those businesses to benefit all the people of Broward County.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. And I appreciate you both for taking time out on this Saturday to have this conversation. I know everything has just been we're living in an interesting time right now, and I know it's a lot going on. So one of the first questions I have, because this platform, we have a lot of young people watching. So a lot of young people are.
Jeremiah, I still need some more volume from you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
A little better, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll speak up. So a lot of young people are watching this, and they're curious about what the job of a mayor is. So my first question is, as mayor, what are you currently doing to promote the development of relationships between youth and the older residents within your municipality?
So I'll tell you, Jeremiah, what I've done, and you've been around a while. You're one of those young kids when you're a youngster that I engage with. Part of what I've done since I started, even before getting into political life, was to do internship and mentorship for our young people. In fact, in Lauderdale, when I got that Chamber of Commerce started and we built the first website to host those businesses in Lauderdale, I hired some young men, paid them from my own pocket, not from the city, to help build that website. And we entered manually every business in Lauderdale onto that website in order to make that go live. I still do that today. In 2016, when I had that big campaign, I had almost 100 young people high schoolers, even down to middle school, college students engaged in the process. I still have a internship program, and actually the only county commissioner's office that had internship. Now I think there's one other that just started to get those young people in college some work experience, and those just coming out of college to get them engaged and be a part of the future of a community or country. The world is in their hands more than it is in mine. So I have to do everything I can today to ensure that they are going to be the best future we can. And as I had engaged with you over time, now you're a grown man, Jeremiah. Proud of you, very proud of you, and happy to have been engaged along the way with you.
Thank you so much. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, so, we have a little different perspective because, we're one of 31 cities in Broward County. And so what I've actually done since I got elected is I created a Northeast High School Leadership Academy, essentially, with zero funding from the city, despite the fact I was a commissioner at the time. And I put that together, and I managed to have 40 to 50 students in 8 different sessions. And we really talked about the census, what was happening with development in Oakland Park. That was last year. And so now we're kicking that off again this year with Northeast High School, along with Rickards Middle School. So I'm now creating that continual interest in civic education. And I think that's what's most important, is that we know that's not actually happening in the classroom everywhere. And so we need to give an outlet where people can actually learn what functionally a city government does. And so I'm hoping that by the time I'm done with my term in office, that we can memorialize that as a city program, much like we have a LGA class, local government class, for our residents. I want to do the same thing for the students, but I've just taken it on. I'm doing it right now. And what I do personally, I immediately took on interns when I came into office, and I used interns in my race. And I think that's really important, that engagement. And then the other part for me in Oakland Park is sort of the nonprofit plus city combination. So we really do look for nonprofits like the Teen Alliance Project, which is run by Kobe King, to actually help us work together and create opportunities for students. So he actually just this morning said to me, let's do an internship program with the local businesses in Oakland Park. And I said, absolutely, let's do it. So I'm 100% committed to it. I think, it's not necessarily what they say is your job as a commissioner, but if we ignore our youth, we've lost the way. So when I look at it, coming into the commission, school boards, schools, youth development was a little, like they said, it's really not yours to deal with. And I just don't agree. I think that this, through our Parks and Recs programs and through our own civic engagement, we have to make that connection. So that's my position on it, and I'm committed to it.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100% that, these programs are important. We have a question. Wow, one of our first questions come from Ms. Pamela Pittman.
Yes.
Who can we contact to enroll in the Northeast High Leadership Academy?
Me. Yeah, let's make sure my email's out there. We're a small city. I don't have assistants or staff, so I run this myself. You send me an email to janeb@oaklandparkfl.gov, and we'll get connected and help those students get enrolled.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. The next question that a young person submitted: within your municipality, are there any existing programs that allow your residents to get to know your city? If so, what are they, and how can they enroll in them? So are there any programs like Know Your City, Know Your County, Know Your Mayor? I know the city of Lauderdale Lakes has something like that, and I believe the city of Lauderdale has something, but go ahead.
Mayor Holness?
Mayor Holness, go ahead.
You can go ahead, Commissioner Bolin.
Okay, yeah. So we have a local government academy. We call it the LGA. It's run through our cultural services and library services. And so if you're a resident of Oakland Park, you can go to our website, take an application. We generally start that in January. And it's an awesome course. I think, anyone who's ever run for office in Oakland Park has taken it. But it's a great way to get to know all the city services. And then the other thing that we do, because we work with BSO, is we have a BSO Explorers program. So youth that are interested in what that looks like, there's an Explorer program as well, and that can be done directly through our BSO office. But any details, if anyone's interested, always contact me and I can connect.
Awesome, awesome. Mayor Holness, we have a question for
you.
In
Broward, there's an entity called Leadership Broward that one could engage with to join and learn a lot about Broward County. It's a limited number of people that they accept each year. But again, through my internship program, I get young people in order to help them directly learn. I have 10 students now in my internship program at the county. It's a bit to manage, but I think it's worthwhile doing. And of course, BSO has youth programs, and they're building it. So I'd recommend they actually look to BSO. One of the things that Sheriff Tony and I have spoken about several times is how we do more to help our youth. And he's committed $250,000 from his budget for youth development, partnering with the different fraternities and sororities, the Divine Nine, as they're called, to help engage the youth in all facets of development, education, finance, character. There's a whole program that's being built for that through the sheriff's office. And I commend him for that.
That's great.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is awesome. Now, with internships, a lot of young people want to know, is there funding involved? Is there a scholarship opportunity? Because like me, I was in school once and I love free money, and I love a scholarship opportunity. So is there any scholarship opportunities offered for, well, hello, Mayor. We got the Mayor of Fort Lauderdale just chiming in with us.
I was having a hot dog.
How are you? Go, everyone.
I'm sorry it took me so long to get on, but it was a little bit of a challenge.
All right. Well, let's just welcome Mayor Dean Trellis. We are delighted to have you. Real quickly, go ahead and introduce yourselves to us.
Okay, my name is Dean Trantails, the mayor of the city of Fort Lauderdale, up for re-election in a few weeks, and excited and hopeful to be able to be re-elected and return to the post. And I was out in the field today, which is why I'm wearing a t-shirt. We were out cleaning up neighborhood streets, and it's hot out there, let me tell you. But anyway, what did I miss? Where are we at this point?
Well, right now we are talking. So our audience right now, we have a lot of young people watching at the moment. So I want to take care of them before I get into the heavy hitting questions. Okay. But right now we were talking about what are you currently doing as mayor to promote development of relationships between youth and older residents within the city of Fort Lauderdale. So go ahead and answer that for us.
Ooh, good question. I think that the most important thing that we're trying to do in our community is to, first of all, try to help people get out of their seclusion. I mean, COVID-19 has definitely interfered with our ability to interact with one another. You know, when we worked with the county to shut down the city and the cities across the county, the reopening process complicates our ability to try to connect young and old people. We're told to keep the young people away from the old people because the young people may acquire the disease, and they shouldn't be around their grandparents and older folks because they're more likely to suffer more serious consequences. But before COVID-19 came into our community, we made efforts to try to bring people. For example, we're building a new YMCA in Fort Lauderdale. The L.A. Lee YMCA is going forward. And what does that do? The YMCA is for everybody, and it's for young and old alike. It's a great venue for people to interact with one another, and young and old alike. Our Carter Park, which is on Sunrise Boulevard, again, another venue for kids and adults, along with Holiday Park and all these places that young and old alike can interact, be it through sports or arts or whatever it might be. I think that's really, the city provides the venue and the opportunity, and I think it's the individual that must take the initiative to take it from there and to try to become integrated in the community.
Thank you so much for that answer. Now, we were talking about scholarship opportunities. As I was saying before, you popped in. You can also answer this. Are there any scholarship opportunities offered for high school students, like I was saying earlier, college students like myself, we love free money. And when I was in high school, I loved the fact that I got a couple of scholarships. So are there any scholarship and internship opportunities offered in the city of Fort Lauderdale that may turn into a scholarship opportunity for one individual that's in high school?
Well, we don't really give money away. We do
Mhm.
offer opportunities. I'll give you a couple of examples. Right now, we're working with Atlantic Technical College with a program to try to bring young people who don't really see college per se as a pathway to higher education, but do want to learn a skill. And so we're partnering with them to bring more and more people into our aviation industry, whether it be from pilots to mechanics. This is a program that we've initiated this past last year. We began the program. And the reason is because we have an airport, our executive airport. We have tremendous demand for talent to come and work there and to be part of that industry. And we didn't see that there was a source of talent here. There wasn't a source of education. So we took that initiative and moved forward in the direction of trying to create opportunities for young people, some of which can certainly secure scholarships in order to move. The industry itself is offering scholarships to try to bring kids in to become a part of that field of learning. We also have within our building department, we have a program again for kids who don't necessarily see a path to college as their way of trying to learn a trade, is to work and learn and apprentice as a carpenter, as an electrician, and again to create a career for themselves that is open and it's free. So instead of writing a check and giving individual money, we provide the opportunity instead, and this way they can learn a trade and build a career and start a family and be proud of their hometown at the same time.
Awesome, awesome. So I don't think Vice Mayor Bolin and Mayor Holness answered that question, but are there any scholarship opportunities for individuals within your internship program?
So one of the things we do at the county now is we have offered $1 million to Broward College through our funding to help get students who are having a tough time finishing college or finishing their associate's degree to get them through the finish line. So there's $1 million that we're giving. So that goes directly to Broward College, and then from there, students may get the help or funding that they have. In terms of within the internship program, there's no funding directly there from the county to the internship interns that we have. What we try to do is help them get on a pathway to where they can get a job, or to assist them with reference letters and recommendations for any other scholarship programs that may exist. And we're also building an apprenticeship program for our contracting opportunities. For example, we now have an internship program that is being built into the convention center and the hotel at the convention center expansion that we have on the way. We have a company that has won that bid that is now building that apprenticeship program in place for students who want to get into the field of being an electrician.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Vice Mayor Bolin?
Thank you. So first of all, exciting about the apprenticeship programs both in the county and the city of Fort Lauderdale. That's awesome. So the city of Oakland Park, we don't provide scholarships. Generally, municipalities wouldn't provide a scholarship per se. Things are more grant driven for us. But what I created with Northeast High School and now with Rickards is something that I'm hoping is going to be a legacy project for me inside of my term. And so the idea that actually Kobe King and I were talking about this morning was the mayor's internship for local businesses. And so we're going to work out those details, but this is what it looks like. I can't pull the purse strings on what's happening in Oakland Park. I'm one of 5 commissioners. So it's just my own personal dedication for it that's taking that forward. But again, taking it back to what I said to you before, this is about that nonprofit plus government coalition, right?
Yes.
Where how do we work together to fill the gaps? So we don't actually have scholarships. The answer is no. But we have opportunities that we're creating, and I'm certainly open to possibilities.
And even if even if there's not a scholarship available, Mayor Holness said something very important: a reference letter. A lot of people don't understand the importance of a reference letter. You know, there are plenty of times where, you know, I did work for people and I probably wasn't awarded a scholarship or something, but when I go back to that person and say, hey, can I have a letter of reference or a letter of recommendation to get a scholarship or to get an internship, they immediately write that letter. And that letter is very important because that can secure you a job or funding for a scholarship in the near future. So that's an awesome point about reference letters. And just to a little blurb here, a quick shout out to our sponsors. Our sponsors are Table Talk Media, the historic Dorsey Riverband Association, and Prince the King Mentoring Program. Without them, this program, the Hamburgers, Hotdogs, and Healing, would not be possible. And we appreciate our sponsors for giving us the
Where
opportunity.
are the hamburgers and hot dogs? We got cheated.
Well, so let me tell you about that, Mayor. Like I told them. So originally, these were all scheduled to be done in person. So the first one with the officers was done in person, but of course, due to COVID-19, we can't do this in person. Now we have to do it via StreamYard or Zoom or StreamYard, and this is the new normal that we have to unfortunately adjust to. But hopefully, we will get back to normal. And now, speaking about normal, Broward County has, I believe, we just entered in our first week of phase 2 of reopening. A lot of people, young and old, are eager to get back out and have a good time. But they, I personally tell them, like, hold off now. You still need to abide by the guidelines, wear your mask, wash your hands, etc. So, Mayor Holness, what is the county doing to ensure that our residents are kept safe? Some of them have questions about restrictions. When is everything going to open back up? So what steps has the county been taken to ensure that the public is kept safe?
Well, we've issued numerous emergency orders that restrict a whole lot of stuff. And some people at this point in time are a little bit tired of the restrictions. But it's something that we must do, unfortunately.
Yes.
At this point in time, in order to ensure that our health is maintained, but also find a balance with livelihoods, how we help with livelihoods of the people. We have done a pretty good job, I must say, getting to where we are in a collaborative effort with our cities and so many others in the community to understand that the most important thing that we can do is wear facial covering. And as you noticed, when I came on, I had my mask on, social distancing. I mean, the sciences already tell us clearly that that is the most important thing that we can do. Avoid crowds, avoid crowded indoors, especially. So we have done that. And, there's some bar owners that want us to open the bars, and, I'm hard pressed not to. But at this point in time, where we are, we have to look to see how we open our schools. The schools are very critical for the functioning of our economy. Many of those parents who have children in school are not able to work because they have to be home taking care of those children. So opening the schools, seeing where that falls, is going to be a critical part of what we do in terms of lifting any restriction going forward. The schools should be opening early October. I believe October 5th is the date that they have targeted for that. Once we look at that, and we're going to probably have this coming week, some restriction lifted. It won't be a tremendous amount. I think bars and clubs are going to be a little bit down on the list because when you look at the science, because people stand around close together without social distancing, without facial covering, and folks want to have a good time. We're social creatures, and I can't say that we shouldn't do some of that socialization. But as a government, we have to find a way to balance again, the economy with the health and well-being of the people of Broward County. We've done quite a bit in code enforcement, enforcing the rules and regulations to make sure people are compliant, and most people are, but it's only a few that won't, and those are the ones that help cause the spread. We had a lot of parties that didn't have social distancing, and we saw an explosion in the spread of the virus as a result of that. Once we tapped down on those parties, we find that it dropped quite a bit.
Yep. So you hear that? You hear that, young people out there listening? You gotta wait. We gotta wait. Let me put myself in there. We gotta wait, because I'm one of those young people who are eager to get back out and socialize and have a good time. But we, as young people, we have to wait in order to keep ourselves.
Well, Jeremiah,
safe.
wait a minute. Don't say that, because you can socialize, and as the mayor said, you can, as long as you practice safe guidelines, wearing masks, socially distancing one another. For example, the county opened up limited extent the use of restaurants. Okay, and people who sit at tables and are separated from one another, they're socializing. So if people follow the same practices, maintain distances, if you're in a closed setting, making sure that you're wearing a mask, young people, old people, we're all human beings, and we all are social creatures. And so we can, you don't have to, hide yourself into the corner of your room and say, I can't be let out anymore. I think the mayor is right on point when he said that, maintain good, safe practices, and you'll certainly be able to comply and keep yourself safe as well as others when as we try to persevere through this pandemic.
And you're absolutely right about that. Recently, my friends and I, we had a little gathering for the 4th of July, and I said, well, masks will be required since we're going to be indoors, and I had it set up where chairs were spaced out. Only one person was in the kitchen serving the food, so that they won't be cross hands in between the food. If someone, wanted a to-go plate, I was running around in the kitchen making sure, only one person's in the kitchen, one person is there. Sanitize your hands, and just have a good time. But you're absolutely right. I've been encouraging people to, when they initially did the lockdown or the shutdown, I told people, I said, remember, you can still get out the house, still go walking. Although the parks weren't open during that time, I said, you can still walk and see your neighborhood. I mean, I met so many amazing neighbors just by walking the neighborhood. I didn't realize the neighbors were nice.
And they didn't realize you were so nice too.
Right. So, but it's too hot. Vice Mayor, what about Vice Mayor? What about you? And what is Oakland Park doing to keep their residents safe?
Well, so Oakland Park is following the lead of the county, which is what all of our cities have done. And right now, I think that the thing to say is there's no playbook for a pandemic. We are the case study. It's happening now, right? So, and people have all kinds of different opinions. And, both mayors address this. If people wear their masks, socially distance, and are personally responsible, then we can still make it through this time and not be caught with fear. I feel like at this point, it really was very scary in March, right? Like all of us were like, what are you talking about? What's a pandemic? What's happening? No doubt there was fear. But here we are, right? And we've had excellent leadership by both the county and all of the cities, right?
Yes.
And you're seeing that our numbers are decreasing. We have, in Oakland Park, we created a hotline. We did a whole slew of things. But what I'm seeing right now is far less calls about COVID, more calls about when are things opening, right? So people are starting to shift. And at the same time, it's our job as government officials. Yeah, you're not going to like it all the time, right? So we're trying to keep people safe in mass. But I think it's important that people get out and start to take away the fear of it. Like it's very clear if you are personally responsible, it's not 100%, but most likely you'll be fine. and we're going to move through this thing together. So I think it's important. What you said was spot on. Get out of the house and be responsible. You still need to, Mayor Holness said this, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
You need human interaction. That said, am I taking a lot of meetings by Zoom? You bet. You know, if it's not necessary, I don't do it. But then there's when I know I need that human contact, well, let's create it in a safe environment with social distancing, mostly outdoors, and make it work. So it's all possible. And right now, I think the important thing is, you know, really for our youth is to understand we could tip like that. So we have to make sure that we keep this new normal of masks and space and hand washing, nth degree up. It's really important at this point because we need to keep the numbers low. We got to get this thing under control completely. So.
Mayor Holness, this question is for you. When the county was issuing executive orders, a lot of young people did not know Broward County had a mayor. And I was receiving text messages. They were saying, well, when was he elected mayor? Or when did we vote for him? So could you explain to the people that are watching how the county commission votes for a mayor and a vice mayor?
That's a good question. So like many other cities and counties, by the way, across Florida, they go through a similar process. There are 9 of us that are elected as county commissioners from districts all over Broward County. And each year there's a vote taken by the 9 people who are elected to select who the mayor is going to be, who the vice mayor is going to be. And in good part, it often rotates. It doesn't always have to. It's who can get 5 votes to vote for them to be vice mayor and 5 votes to vote for the mayor amongst the 9. So the general population elects 9 people. The 9 people selects who the mayor and vice mayor is going to be each year. And each year, pretty much since I've been there, there's a rotation. Some people might have gotten it twice in that time, but it is a rotation amongst the 9 people for the most part. No one has served consecutive 2 years as mayor since I've been here. And I don't recall that ever happening where there was 2 consecutive years of a mayor serving as mayor in Broward County. That's the process that we use. And there are 5 other counties throughout the state of Florida of the 67 who actually have a direct election for the mayor to serve a 2 to 4 year term. The other 62 counties don't have that in place. They have a similar system as we do here in Broward County.
Thank you. And folks, that answers your question about how the Broward County gets their mayor and vice mayor. Now, another question for you, Mayor Holness. With schools possibly reopening, one of the questions that was given to me is, when can we see local? There we go. They just popped up. Local parks and libraries. A lot of people are wondering about when libraries. Is there going to be a opening for libraries anytime soon? Are parks going to be open soon? Go ahead.
Yes, some of our parks are now open, and many of the city parks are open. The ones that we have at the county that are not open are actually serving as COVID testing sites. The library, we probably will open in not too long future. Part of what we're doing now, though, is the library staff is actually working to help with COVID-related issues. For example, they actually man our call center for COVID. They also, just as we just recently issued the funding for rental assistance, they're actually helping with the processing of those, along with some of the parks people. Coming up shortly, we're going to have the libraries, most of them act as early voting sites. So for now, we might not do it until after the early voting is over, because that's going to be very hectic at the libraries that we use as early voting sites. And I think most of the early voting sites are actually at the libraries.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Now this question is for everyone. COVID-19 has, does the city have, well, let me just answer this question. We also receive questions live. So does the city or county have a hotline for COVID-related questions. Vice Mayor Bolin, does City of
Yeah.
Oakland Park have a hotline?
Yes, we do have a hotline, and it's been published and it's available. We've had it manned. And then also, not to speak for the county, but we also have 311, correct, Mayor Holness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we have hotlines everywhere, and I imagine that the city of Fort Lauderdale does as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next question.
So our 311 hotline
Go ahead.
serves to connect residents with Broward County services. But additionally, that act, when we declare a state of emergency, as our connection points between the cities also. So let's say today you were to find someone who was breaking the emergency orders. They would simply dial 311, and that 311 number would connect that person to the city within which they live. Also, when it comes time to find resources, that's a place that you can go centralize to get to those resources. And also our website at broward.org/coronavirus, broward.org/coronavirus will give you update on coronavirus and point you to resources and information that you need during these times of emergencies as it pertains to coronavirus.
Thank you. Now, COVID-19 has definitely hit people hard, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. But talking about the financial aspect and what has the county and both the city of Fort Lauderdale and Oakland Park, what have you done for your residents who've fallen on hard times, and what are some resources available? One thing I really love is that I've seen so many people come together, whether it was a food drive, dropping off groceries to somebody, helping somebody pay a bill. It's just been so amazing to see people love on their neighbors during this time. So what's going on in the city of Fort Lauderdale that people can tap into for help, whether it's a food bank or money for rental assistance?
I'm glad you asked that, because I want the people listening to this program to understand what we're all trying to do. First of all, most people are tapping into the federal resources, which started out earlier this summer, where people could apply for unemployment compensation, and they received $600 a week. Plus, there was an initial $1,200 that was handed out by the federal government. But we know that program has been suspended. Even the partial program that the state collaborated with has now, I believe, terminated. So, of actual cash payouts, those federal programs are no longer available. Now, the county and the cities are working together. The county received a large sum of money through the CARES Act, and I won't speak for the mayor. I won't speak for Mayor Holness, but to the extent that the city receives any funding through the CARES Act, we're looking to mitigate the expenses that we incur as a result of COVID-19. Let me give you an example. As a result of many people, especially marginal wage earners who have lost their jobs, we've attempted to try to mitigate the homeless problem that we have here in our community. For 2 months, we were able to house a little over 100 individuals, take them off the streets, not only just to protect them from contracting the disease, but also if they had the disease from spreading it to others. And at the same time, able to do case management, working with those individuals at those centers, at those hotels, and one by one, working with them, trying to connect them to social services, if they had addiction problems or mental illness issues, that we would connect them with those services while we had them in the housing. We ran out of that funding, but believe we've since secured additional funding from the federal government. So we're going to look for other ways in which to continue that program. But in terms, so the actual cash payments, we do have a program for small businesses. People can apply for grants from $5,000 to $10,000. It's done through our CRA offices, and those who qualify are entitled to receiving those cash payments. And we encourage anyone that thinks that they might be interested, that they can work through our CRA department and try to see if they can secure. It's a small. Keep in mind that the federal government had a very large program called PPP, which Paycheck Protection Program, in which certain businesses would qualify, certain employees would qualify in order to ensure that these folks were not let go, that they were not furloughed, and that they would continue to be employed during the course of the pandemic. That has been remarkably successful. There's been some eating going on here and there, but overall, I think it's been a remarkably successful program, and has certainly helped keep people in business and keep people employed. Nonetheless, we still have a very high unemployment. I did read in the paper today that Florida unemployment was 7.4%, I think it was. And that's still twice as high as it was prior to the pandemic coming to our community. So we still have a lot of work ahead of us, but between the cities and the county, there are quite a few programs that we have been able to assist the folks in our community to ensure that we've been able to soften the blow of this pandemic. One last thing I want to point out, Fort Lauderdale, in partnership with Oakland Park and in partnership with Wilton Manors, every Thursday, we have a food drive,
Awesome.
a food distribution undertaking. It's at Mills Pond Park. And we typically, correct me, Jane, but I think typically it's between 12 and 1,300 vehicles every Thursday morning that we're able to give big boxes of food to people. And no questions asked, about income or qualifications. If you feel that you're in need, you're welcome to come. But there's one kicker. We're finally asking people if they've signed up for the census. And
good.
And
that was the next. Point.
So census is really important. So we now have the census workers working at the Mills Pond Park, as well as the COVID testing centers, trying to get those numbers up because I know in particular Fort Lauderdale has been lagging behind. So it's a Herculean effort that all of us are undertaking, and it puts a lot of stress not just on individuals but on the leaders. Make sure we're doing the right thing and trying to help as many people as we can.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You want to chime in on that?
Sure. So it's a little different. Oakland Park being a city of under 50,000, we graciously appreciate what the county is providing through the CARES Act funding to our city to reimburse us for some of the costs. But really, it's. Let me explain. We have the food distribution that Mayor Trantails just talked about. Our CRA put together a Live Like a Local campaign to try to help our businesses get more advertising out, to try to give them something that they don't have themselves. Like, they don't want to spend money now on marketing. So we're really going out there and helping them try to market. We also distributed a ton of masks in the very beginning and went out and actually created these COVID compliant posters for our city. So, we have been, it feels almost more like grassroots compared to what's happening in Fort Lauderdale and the county, but that really is a matter of how the money flows from the federal government to us. So that's just the case. But for us, speaking of the census, I think we're a city more than 50,000. So, next time around, we will probably qualify for way more money if we're above that threshold. And the census has been super important. So we have gone back around. We've had it's over a year. We've had a committee together, and that's what's gotten our number up to almost 62%. But that census number is critical because that's where we can actually account for the funding in situations just like this. So ours has really been much more hands-on in terms of what we're doing to help our businesses and our community. But again, we're available. We have our hotline, and whenever it's necessary, we have a neighbors to neighbors program, just like you talked about before, helping people out, helping hand all over the place. We've really activated our community at this time, and it's really been remarkable considering the conditions.
Okay, Mayor Holness.
Yeah, I'll pick up on the census because it's a critical thing for us to do to ensure that we are counted. And you still can. It's not too late.
right.
Yep, that's right.
census2020.gov, census2020.gov. Encourage your neighbors, get everyone to fill those forms out, to go online, do what needs to be done. Because we get funding from the federal government based on the census, based on the total population we have, based on the demographics in terms of income, age of the population we have. If we have a large number of students, then there's likelihood that we'll get more funding for students. If we identify that we have a certain percentage of seniors, then funding will flow in that manner. So that's a critical thing for us to do. The county, at the onset of this virus, actually went into our emergency fund. One of the places that we went to first to help was the homeless population. We pull a $5 million out of our reserve funding to help with the homeless population because they were hit hard. And we wanted to make sure that we provide sanitation and help for them. The federal government gave us over $300 million through the CARES program. Over $100 million is being given to the cities for them to deploy and help residents within their cities. I talked earlier about the program that we have for rental assistance. There was $25 million that we dedicated to that. And our focus at the county is on the hardest hit areas, low income, high unemployment, zip codes, especially the Broward up, the Prosperity Broward zip codes. There are 10 zip codes that we have identified as the ones that are most critically in need of help that we need to target. And we're using funds there. For those $25 million that we put out for rental assistance, we are now going to enter into business assistance to our small businesses, those who did not receive any PPP funding. We want to make sure the ones who didn't have the social capital, that's the contact with the banks and elsewhere to get money, that we help them because they are probably more at risk than anyone else. So we'll have a program where they'll get up to $15,000 in assistance. I know it's not a whole lot of money, but to a small beauty salon who we closed down for a substantial period of time, that could be the lifeline that helped them stay in business, or a barbershop, or a little restaurant or a corner store that suffered tremendously as a result of COVID-19 and the fact that we had to restrict the people's ability to be out and about and to spend.
Awesome, awesome. So we mentioned the census, which is very important. Just you're receiving a lot of important information. Those of you out there are watching this, and I hope that you are writing it down or make sure you go and share this broadcast with your friends and family, because this is a lot of important information that's getting out. And this is what our city and county leaders are here for, to provide you with that important information. We discussed the census, but another big thing is coming up in November, and that's Election Day. And I want to encourage everyone to visit browardsoe.org to, if you want to vote in person, wear your mask. I am sure that the supervisor of elections in the county and the cities are working together to make sure that voting sites are as clean and socially distant as possible. And if you don't feel comfortable going out, please request your absentee ballot. There is still time to request your absentee ballot. And you can find all that information on browardsoe.org. That is the Supervisor of Elections website. Someone asked a question. Let me see if they can the sound engineer, he bring back up that question. It was a question about, okay, here we go. Are there any resources to help with cleaning supplies and or laundry detergent? It's a lot of families within the city of Fort Lauderdale in Broward County. Let me see if I can reword that question. Is there any cleaning? Are there any supplies for families or something like that? I'm not sure if the question was formulated correctly.
I'll answer it. As far as Fort
Yes.
Lauderdale is concerned, there's no program to provide cleaning or sanitation supplies per se. The food distribution events that we have, I don't believe have any cleaning supplies. In fact, if you can find them, good luck. Sometimes going for the going for those brands like Lysol and Mr. Clean with the that kill the coronavirus. It's a catch as catch can undertaking to go to these stores and try to find them. But I know Fort Lauderdale per se does not have such a program.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, with any other, before I move on, any other questions posted that I missed? Sorry, we have somebody posting the questions as we speak, so I want to make sure I'm getting everybody's questions answered in a timely fashion. Okay. Okay, this question is for all the mayors and vice mayor. Do you guys allow youth in the community to come in for a day to see how the city/county is ran? Select those students.
I'll respond to that.
Okay.
Before COVID-19, we did have programs. We had intern programs. We have, programs where young kids could come in and observe government activity. But, right now, all that stuff is shut down. Even our city hall is as a skeletal presence of its workers. Most people are working remotely. So while it's a good idea, now those practices are not being followed, and we will probably resume them once things get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Now I have a question that was given to me. It's about places of worship. A lot of people are eager to get back into church since a lot of restrictions were lifted. What advice can you give to those who are preparing to open back up their churches? Like I've been telling people, I say, look, church is in your heart, and I know a lot of churches are ready to get back, but it's gonna take some time. So, what advice can you give to those who are eager to get back into those places of worship who churches haven't opened yet?
Well, I think that the churches are open.
Yeah.
They're not really required to be closed, but they still have to follow the same protocols that the county has laid out. And maybe Mayor Holness, you might want to speak to it in terms of the maximum capacity, the distancing, and so forth. Mayor, do you want to follow up on that?
So Jeremiah, I want to say thank you to all the churches who have restricted their capacity, but our emergency order simply asks that they follow the guidelines that's set forward by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC.
Yes,
we actually don't have a forceful requirement, let's say, that they don't operate. We ask them to follow the guidelines. So truthfully, churches can operate. What we're asking them to do is ensure that they have social distancing in the church, that they wear facial covering, and the guidelines really ask that you don't have loud singing and those kind of things going on within the church. And it's actually to the benefit of the members of the congregation that we look to have the churches restrict themselves from having people exposed to the possibility of the spread of the virus. But churches can operate, and churches are operating. And let me say,
yes, they are.
the churches in Broward County have been very responsive in terms of owning up to the fact that they are a place that the virus could spread.
Yes.
That is being demonstrated by the science that whenever you have a large gathering indoors for a sustained period of time, there's a great likelihood that the virus could spread. So many of my pastors that I talk to, they have restricted the capacity in the church to 50% or some even 25%. And now they've gone to multiple services and limit the services to no more than about an hour and a half. And in between, they do sanitizing for the new people coming in, and they have facial coverings. They're not singing and shouting as much as they used to. They've limited that part of the program. But, churches, you're right, are basically a cornerstone, especially within the African American community,
I agree.
of community building. So
Yeah.
their church is operating, and they can. as long as they follow the CDC guidelines to the best ability that they can.
And I agree with you on that. I am a church musician myself, and so I understand how eager people are ready to get back in the building. And my church, we are looking forward to regathering soon. We have a task force at my church, First Baptist Fort Lauderdale. We've been meeting online since March, and so we have a task force together to discuss the reopening process. Now, I have another question here. I understand the social distancing, but is there anything in place to keep those community youth engaged, especially those young men who are interested in local government? Vice Mayor Bolin?
Yeah, so I would just loop back to what I said sort of in the beginning, right? So in Oakland Park, Northeast High School and Rickards Middle School, we're doing a leadership academy, and I'm working with the Teen Alliance Project in our city to make sure that we keep people engaged through a variety of programs. So how do you find out about that? Email me directly and I can give you some information. And if you're not in those high schools or in that middle school, I'm not worried about it. We're doing it by Zoom right now. So there are ways to keep us engaged. And at least in Oakland Park, you can reach out to me directly to find out about that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. There was another question that was, we had 2 questions posted. Could you bring those back up for me, please? There we go. This is the one. As our seniors who are able to vote prepare for the next election, how can they become familiar with local government? How often do mayors attend high school and football games? This is a good way for them to become familiar with local leaders. No, we haven't. Let me see. Okay, it's a great question, Lena. I believe COVID-19 has unfortunately stopped that. Football games and stuff. But what I can ask is each of these leaders on here meet. They have meetings, they have commission meetings, they have workshops, they have city council meetings, which are held on Zoom. Go ahead, Vice Mayor Holness, explain to us how often does the commission meet and where the public can watch these meetings.
Was that for me or for Mayor Holness?
Mayor Holness. I'm gonna go in order here. So, Mayor Holness, let us know how we can watch commission meetings, and then Vice Mayor, and then Mayor Jean Trellis.
So we have meetings approximately twice per month, sometimes more. In between the meetings, we usually have workshops. This Tuesday, we'll have a commission meeting. It's half of us are usually in the chambers. The other half usually online in terms of the meeting, the elected officials attending the meeting. However, this may change soon because in order for us to do this, the governor had to issue an emergency order that suspended the requirement for us to meet in person. And that might be lifted within the next month or so. We'll go back to meeting in the chambers again. Our meetings are online though. If you go to broward.org, you'll be able to find our meetings and sign up to attend the meetings that we have. Broward.org is a place you can get a tremendous amount of information about all kind of things in Broward County. So you could go and sign up. In fact, this Tuesday's meeting, I'll be bringing an ordinance asking for drafting an ordinance by a county attorney as it pertains to ban the box, expanding what I was able to pass a few years ago to where if you apply for a county job, the box that you would need to check to say whether or not you've been arrested or imprisoned is removed. And not until you are given the opportunity to be looked at carefully do we ask about your background. And then you have a chance for rebuttal to say how you've changed and how you've become a better person, even though you might have made a mistake in the past or mistakes in the past. I want to extend that to those who contract to do business with the county also, for them to afford the population that opportunity for us to be able to put people back to work and for them to become productive and be able to take care of their lives rather than dependent on the government or be going back and forth in and out of prison. So Broward.org is a place you can go to find our meeting schedule and to sign up to participate. and we encourage participation. You can also find the agenda posted there also at broward.org.
Awesome. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, so the City of Oakland Park meets on the first Wednesday and third Wednesday of every month. You can go to oaklandparkfl.gov to watch our meetings stream live. And once we do open back up, there'll probably be a socially distanced but open City Hall for that. But to answer that question, how do you get involved or learn about local government? One, call your local government elected officials. If you call us, we will respond to you and answer whatever questions that we can, provide you direction with staff, help you walk through the process. I do think watching meetings is a great way to get involved. But then there's other things. We have Planning and Zoning Board, Development Review Committee. We have an architect. We have a Arts and Culture Board, a School Advisory Board. So you can also apply in the City of Oakland Park if you're a resident to get involved and actually sit on one of those boards, which is really meaningful work and very, very important. But in the City of Oakland Park, I'd say call our commissioners. Every single one of our commissioners is very responsive, and we're happy to really provide you the time to walk you through whatever questions you have about how local government works. Thanks.
Yep. Mayor?
So Lauderdale has the same type of programs that the Vice Mayor spoke about in terms of advisory boards, and the way you do that, the way you get involved, is to contact the commissioner that represents your district. See, Fort Lauderdale, as opposed to Oakland Park, Fort Lauderdale is divided up into different districts. So depending upon what your address is, you would contact that particular commissioner to see whether or not there's a vacancy on the. We have at least 40 boards that are advisory, but there are still other ways. You can get involved in your neighborhood association. Most neighborhoods have associations, and they meet once a month, and you get to learn what's going on in your community. You get to meet who your neighbors are. You get to see what is going on in your particular on your street, even sometimes. But even more than that, there are political clubs that exist within our communities. Republican, Democrat, nonpartisan, but they're political clubs that are more issue-oriented or that are oriented towards a certain ethnic attraction. So there's so many different ways to get involved and be connected, to learn about what's going on in the community. You can also read in the newspaper. Yes, for those that still read newspapers, or go online to read them. This is all part of the sources of information. There's no one place to go, but there are multiple places to go. On my particular website that I have with the city, if you go to the mayor's page, every month I put out a newsletter in which I talk about things going on in our city that most people find important to want to know about. And I've been doing that for the last, for the last 8 years, actually.
Awesome.
And they're all online. And if you just skim through them, you can kind of see what are the more salient issues that we're trying to address as public officials. So anybody that wants to know what's going on in their community, there's plenty of opportunity to find out what we're doing, how we're doing it, and where we think we need to be going as a community.
Awesome. Now there were some questions that were posted. Let me answer get these questions answered. Go ahead and bring back up some of those questions that we had that was posted. Okay, this is from Makiba Janae. How do programs get approved by the city? We started a hydroponic garden, a garden coop, that we are encouraging residents to grow their own food indoors from home. How can we do the work with the city? I don't know what city she lives in. So if someone has a program like that and they want to bring it to a city, how does it get approved?
Well, if you want to grow food in your help you, there's really no program that anyone needs to follow, or except don't be growing weed in your house. But other than that, this is we do have some restrictions about people who want to raise chickens and barnyard animals in their backyard. There was once a move of years ago where people wanted to raise chickens and hens. We do have restrictions there. But anytime you want to grow hydroponic vegetables and fruits, in your home or in a greenhouse or whatever. We encourage that. We discourage people from plowing their front yard and growing corn. But those are types of things that government shouldn't really get involved with. It's time. Government doesn't need to be watching over you if you want to grow vegetables within your own home.
Awesome. Can we bring back up the other few questions that we had posted as well? Let me see. Okay. All right. What about funding for businesses or renters / mortgage assistance? Let me see.
As you know, there's a moratorium right now that's been imposed by the state of Florida to suspend the collection of past due rents and mortgages. Doesn't mean that you're going to get away with not paying it at some point. It just suspends your obligation at this point to have to pay it. I know the city of Fort Lauderdale has a renters and mortgage program. I think all of us have programs, but I don't want to speak for the others, but I know there's a limited program within the city of Fort Lauderdale for rental assistance, and you can contact 828-8000. That's 954-828-8000 in which to ask about that.
Okay. And once again, I want to definitely thank our sponsors. I have to say that this program is sponsored by the historic Dorsey River Band Association, Prince to Kings Mentoring Program, and Table Talk Media. If it's not for them, we won't be able to have this platform to provide you all with this important information. And we appreciate every single person on this platform taking time out of their busy schedules. Do we have any more questions posted that were posted? Use the hashtag when you share this, Dorsey33311. Once again, use the hashtag Dorsey33311. Let me see. I'm waiting on him to pull back up some of the questions. We had a few questions that were posted. I really want to. Hopefully, I can get to them. All right. Okay, we want to teach residents how to grow food in their home. Okay. I'm assuming they want to, I guess, build a partnership with the. Okay. It's great. It's great that meetings are available online and that each of you are a phone call away. Can high school organizations invite you to various events?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. We love to get invited to events.
And I do attend many.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Mayor Holness does. Mayor Holness attends a lot of events. And just a sidebar, I when Mayor Holness said he knew me from a young man, he actually do. I met him back in 2008 when I lived in Lauderdale, and he has watched me grow into this man I am today, and I appreciate his leadership and his guidance and everything that he's been doing for not only the county but for the city of Lauderdale. I appreciate every single one of you for what you've been doing. Like I said, COVID-19 has really changed the trajectory of how we do things. A lot of us have been working 24 hours. You all are essential workers. I'm an essential worker. And we appreciate everything that you do. And we know that your work is not in vain. Feeding programs, do we know of any, and how long will they last? So I believe Vice Mayor Bolin said that the city of Fort Lauderdale and Wilton Manors, they have a food drive. What you said, every other Thursday?
Not a food drive, a food distribution.
Food distribution.
Right. And we partner with Oakland Park, the three cities that partner together. And it's at Mills Pond Park every Thursday starting at 9 o'clock.
All righty. Any closing remarks? Go ahead and just close us out. I'm going to start with Mayor Trantails. Give us some final thoughts.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry it took me so long to try to connect. I'm technologically not as advanced as you obviously are. But this is a good opportunity. I really appreciate it, Jeremiah, that you invited us, all the others on the other programs that you do, because these are ways in which folks can feel connected to their public officials and to get to know a little bit more about what's going on. As Vice Mayor Bolin talked about, ways to get connected by advisory boards and so forth, and homeowners associations and condo associations. This is a very active. Broward County is deeply engaged in the best welfare for its citizens, and through programs that the county puts on or any of the cities. I come from Connecticut, and I can tell you that it's nothing like this. The people are much less connected or organized as we are here in Broward County, and as you can tell we have great leaders in Broward County. So,
Yes, we do.
And it takes a lot to be a leader in Broward County, and so the task of measuring up to the expectations of the people that we represent becomes an everyday undertaking, challenge, and really we embrace that, knowing that we're all here for the betterment of our communities. So we all need to hang tight, as Mayor Holness said. We should follow the guidelines of the CDC in maintaining distances, wearing our masks, ensuring the safety of yourself and of others. We will get through this pandemic. We will be able to get ourselves back on our feet slowly. We're getting people back at work, and that's a really important phase of returning to normalcy. Hopefully next year we'll have the first soccer game here in Broward County in Fort Lauderdale. Those high schools that didn't have a place to play football, that the Inter Miami Beckham organization provided a football field for Fort Lauderdale High and Northwest High. These are Northeast High. These are the These are these things still are ongoing. Many people have been wondering, about Fort Lauderdale's troubles with our infrastructure, and indeed, the neglect of the years past has certainly caught up with us. But as we speak, and all through the summer, we've been digging into the ground and laying miles and miles of pipe, trying to catch up with our infrastructure needs. And within months, you're going to see a much more functional infrastructure than we've ever experienced before. So I appreciate being part of this event, and I think that this will help other people understand how government works. And my phone is always ringing, and I hope it's you that will be calling, because we're there for you. And anytime you have a question, just give us a call. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Bolin, final
Yeah.
thoughts?
Thank you. So Jeremiah, thank you, and the Historic Dorsey River Bend Civic Association for putting this on. It's really such an honor to be here with both Mayor Holness and Mayor Trantails. But I want to thank the viewers. So the fact that you took time out of your day on a Saturday afternoon to find out a little bit about how government works, I hope you took something away from this. Certainly that all three of us are very, very accessible, available, and want to support. So the one thing I think is most important is don't wait until it's a problem. Give us a call and ask the questions. And with our youth that are on this call, get involved, right? So keep asking questions, be an inquiry. And don't forget, we have a presidential election. Indeed, it's important to vote. We also have 6 constitutional amendments on the ballot that are going to fundamentally change how our state government runs. So one of the things I sort of referenced it several times, there's the federal, the state, the county, the municipalities, and really starting to learn how all of that works makes a big difference in how you choose your leaders. So I really appreciate everyone being on this call and having this opportunity. Next time, hopefully we'll have a burger or a hot dog and be together. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Mayor Holness, final thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me on, and thanks to the sponsors, the Historic Dorsey River Bend, StreamYard, and Jeremiah. I'm so very proud of you. I'm grateful to have offered you some counseling and some guidance along the way. You truly have lived up beyond my expectation. You are a true leader, and I expect to see even more from you as time goes on. You said you would be a leader, and you have become one. No doubt about it. And know that I'm always here as a resource for you. Anytime you need me, you can always pick up the phone and call me. I'm available. I'm available to this community. I've been engaged in this community for a very long time. And the one parting thing that I'd like for us to remember, this is our community. All of us have a role to play. And young people, it's more in your hands than it's in ours, because you're going to be here much longer than we are. You have a role to play. This is your world as much as it is anyone else. And all of us have an equal part in this world. And if you don't believe so, and if you don't think it is so, change it. Make it a better place for all of us. Let's build a better Broward. Together, we certainly will make it a better place for all of us. And thank you very much for having me this evening.
Thank you all so much. I am happy that you all were present on this. Thank you to the viewers for watching this. It is important that you all stayed, and I hope you all got some information. Thank you to the Historic Dorsey River Band Association, Table Talk Media, and Princeton King Mentoring Program for asking me to facilitate not one, but all 4 of these events. And the first one was in person, and we did have hot dogs. And I'm going to leave you all with this quote, which is very important. If I can help somebody as I travel along, if I can help somebody with a word or song, if I can help somebody from doing wrong, no, my living shall not be in vain. I am here as a resource to, if anyone needs help getting in contact with these leaders that's on here, feel free to contact me and I'll help you get in contact with them. Thank you all so much. Remember, stay safe, wear your mask, and we will get through this together.
That's right. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.